Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Joy at Work. Let's get right into it. After my last post, I received feedback. My last post was on strong mind, strong body, and things we can do to strengthen our mind, strengthen our body, which in turn helps us to experience joy at work because we're healthy, we're happier, and we're just stronger. And coming off of that last video, I got feedback from a viewer who said, "Hey, attitude is something that we need to pay attention to for strong mind and strong body." And I was so struck by that because that's right. That is extremely important. And while I might have touched on our attitude, our view of things throughout the course of these few videos I've shared at Joy at Work, I don't know that I had specifically spoken to attitude. So I want to talk about it today because attitude matters a lot. And so often we yield or give up our attitude because we think things are just out of our control or there's nothing we can do. But I'll remind us of this quote by Viktor Frankl, wrote the book Man's Search for Meaning, very powerful book, at least for me personally. It's a book I recommend everyone should read. And he says that everything can be taken from a man or woman, I add that, but one thing, the last of the human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances, to choose one's own way. To choose one's own way, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances. That's powerful. And he would know. If you read his story, you'd find out that he spent a lot of time in a concentration camp, and that's kind of where the book was born from. But the point is, we have the ability to choose how we want to respond. We have the ability to decide what we want to do in any given set of circumstances. Doesn't matter really what happens, right? Doesn't matter how a coworker treats us, or if we don't like the direction the company's going, or whatever the decision might be. We have the opportunity to decide exactly what it is we want to do and how we want to respond, what our attitude is going to be. That is so powerful. I remember reading many, many years ago, I was a kid at the time, so maybe it's not many, many, but many years ago, The Power of Positive Thinking by Norman Vincent Peale. Extremely impactful book about the things our mind does to our body and to our surroundings when we approach it with positive thoughts. And I found for me personally in my life that when I approach things positively, even negative scenarios, the outcome is generally better. I've said before that negativity carries a lot more weight than positivity, right? It's kind of the trap of the recency bias. If you have a fight with somebody today, you remember that way much longer than you remember all the good experiences you had. That's just the way we are. One drop of positivity doesn't cancel out one drop of negativity, unfortunately. It's almost like you need to have a lot more positivity in your life to cancel out the negativity. And so that's why the power of positive thinking is extremely important. That's why our attitude is extremely important. Don't give up your attitude. Always recognize that we get to control how we want to respond in any given situation. And this is not an excuse to stay in a situation. No, sometimes it's the right thing to do is to change situations. But even how we change those situations, we have a control. We can decide to do that in a positive manner. We can decide to do that in a productive manner. We can have an attitude that's great, or we can have an attitude that isn't so great, an attitude that isn't so productive. Ultimately comes back to what we choose. So let me leave us with this just final thought from Rumi, right? Yesterday I was clever, so I wanted to change the world. Today I am wise, so I am changing myself. You have control of your attitude. Decide how you want to use it, decide how you want to respond. I recommend a positive attitude that helps us find joy at work. Thank you and see you around.